Hello everyone, this is Dr. Ashok Kumar from Government Women Engineering College Ajmer. This is lecture 2 of antenna basics and electromagnetics theory, and in this lecture 2 we are going to discuss about Maxwell equations, then use of Maxwell equations for antenna analysis. The following contents will be addressed during this lecture. Initially, the review of electromagnetic theory, then the Maxwell equations, and then the antenna analysis procedure by using Maxwell equation. The contents of this lecture 2 of this antenna basic and electromagnetic theory series is prepared with the help of following books. Electromagnetic theory. Electromagnetic fields are produced by time varying charge distribution which can be supported by time varying current distribution. So it means in a electromagnetic theory there are electric and magnetic fields will be exist, and these electric and magnetic fields are created due to the time varying charge distribution as well as time varying current distribution. Due to the charge distribution, it creates the charge electric current density, and through which we can generate the electric field. Similarly, by using current distribution analysis, it, it generates the magnetic flux density, and then further we can calculate the magnetic fields. So by using Coulomb's law and by using Biot-Savart law, we can calculate the electric and magnetic field generated by the charge distribution as well as current distribution on a small current element. So to understand this concept, we have considered a sinusoidal varying electromagnetic sources. These electromagnetic sources produce the field vectors that vary with space and are sinusoidal function of time, which also represented by the phasors. For example, an instantaneous electric field vector, this we have represented at E bar, is represented as a instantaneous value of electric field vector along the xyz, and it is the function of t, and a function of space xyz having a sinusoidal variation with time, and this can be represented by E of xyz t is equal to real part of E x y z e की power j omega t. So here you can see that term e की power j omega t is called a time harmonic electric field, means it is a factor, and this factor is it's a time harmonic factor, and or we can say it's a time varying, and this time varying component having the angular frequency omega and the time t. So by using this is the instantaneous electric field vector equations as given expression in 4, we can calculate or we can say that it contains the direction, magnitude and phasor information of electric field, but it is independent of the time. So using the phasor notation, the Maxwell equation can be written for the field and sources that are sinusoidal varying with time. It means the electric and magnetic field, by using some certain law, we can define the Maxwell equations when considering the time harmonic factor e की power j omega t. So these are the four Maxwell equations that are presented or that are presented by the Maxwells in the half of the 19th century, and the Maxwell full name is James Clerk Maxwell, and this Maxwell equation can be represented mathematically uh, in a differential form, and here we are putting d upon dt is equal to j omega t. Then we have represented with respect to time harmonic factor, and we can say that this is the first equation, and through which we can calculate through which we can calculate the electric field. This is the Ampere's law, and through which we can calculate the magnetic field. Then Gauss law for the electric field as well as Gauss law for the magnetic field. Here the E represent the electric field intensity and units volt per meter. H is the magnetic field intensity, or we can say it's a magnetic field, and ampere per meter. D is the electric flux density, coulombs per meter. B is the magnetic flux density, Weber per meter or Tesla, or we can represent capital of T. J is the current density, and we have represented ampere per meter square, and rho is the charge density, and we have represent coulombs per meter cube. So we can say that the Maxwell's have the four equations that can be represented by 5, 6, 7 and 8. One by one we can understood what is the Faraday law of induction, and this law simply states that the induced electromotive force is proportional to the rate of change of magnetic flux through a coil. Here if we have not represented j omega is equal to d by dt, then we can say it's equal to minus का mu d h of dt. So rate of change of magnetic flux density through a coil, and through which we can generate the electric field, and this electric field is not equal to 0. But if the magnetic field is not time varying, in that case it does not generate the electric field component by using equation 5, and it is called as a Faraday law of induction. Second is the Ampere's law, or sometimes it is called as a Ampere circuit law, and this can be represented in differential form del cross H is equal to J plus d del d upon dt. When we are putting d is equal to epsilon E, then we can say J plus d del d upon dt, and here the term del d upon dt is called as a displacement current, and we have replaced d upon dt is equal to j omega, so we can say j omega epsilon E, and this term is called as a displacement current. It means that the magnetic field appears during the charge or discharge of a capacitor. With this concept, the Faraday law, Maxwell was able to derive the wave equation and predicted that the wave velocity was same as the measured velocity of the light. So we can say that the current J and time varying electric field j omega epsilon E can generate a magnetic field H which is not equal to 0. So we can say by Ampere circuit law we can calculate the magnetic field generated by the current densities. And this is the third law, and this third law is called as a Gauss law for the electric field, and this is the we can use this Maxwell equation in electrostatic applications, and through equation we can understand that the electric fields to form a closed loop, and because d having the epsilon E, in that case the charge density rho generate the electric field, and through which we can calculate the electric field, and this is called as a Gauss law for electric field. And this is the fourth law, and this is called the Gauss law for the magnetic field, and it shows that the divergence of magnetic field d dot B is always 0, which means that the magnetic field lines are the closed loop, and the integral of B over closed surface is 0, or we can simply say that the magnetic conductor is not presented. So we can say that this is the Gauss law for magnetic field, which is equal to del dot B. So we have defined the four Maxwell equation, and when we are putting the value of d upon dt is equal to j omega, in that case these Maxwell equation we are using for the any kind of antenna analysis. Further, since the magnetic dipoles does not exist in nature, so the divergence of B, as we have given here in equation 8, which is equal to 0. The current density J consists of a two component. One is due to the impressed or actual sources, and other is the current induced due to the applied electric field, which is equal to sigma E, where sigma is the conductivity of the medium. Here you can see J and J, or sometimes we are saying it's a conduction JC, and this is JD, and it is called as a displacement current density. In antenna problem, we are mostly working with the field radiated into the free space by the antenna. In that case, we have considered always sigma is equal to 0, and we use for the simplicity the Maxwell second equation, and through which we have considered the J, which is generated by the actual current density. So simply we can say del cross S is equal to J we are considering. In an isotropic and homogeneous medium, the electric density D and the electric field intensity E are related by D equal to epsilon E, where epsilon is the electric permittivity, and we have measured in farad per meter of the medium, and epsilon naught having is called as a permittivity of the space, and having the value 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12 farad per meter, and the ratio of epsilon upon epsilon naught is called as a epsilon R, and it is called as the relative permittivity of the antenna. This quantity is a dimensionless, and the epsilon R is important in antenna engineering when we have designed some kind of antennas like microstrip antenna or some other kind of antenna, then what kind of material we are using. So in that case the relative permittivity is having the important role. Similarly, the magnetic flux density and magnetic field intensity or magnetic field are related by the expression 10, which is equal to B is equal to mu into H, and where mu is equal to mu naught and mu R is the magnetic permittivity, and we have measured in terms of Henry per meter of the medium. Mu naught is the permeability of the free space that we have represented 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 H Henry per meter, and this value of mu naught and this value of epsilon naught can be used to analyze or solve the problem based on the antenna analysis. And the ratio of mu upon mu naught is called as a relative permittivity of the medium, and it is represented by mu of R. For a isotropic medium and mu are scalars, and for the homogeneous medium they are independent of the. Further, what is the use of electromagnetic theory in antenna engineering? In that case, how we can use these Maxwell equations for the analysis of antennas, through which we can calculate the electric and magnetic field equations, and we can consider the antenna analysis into two parts. The first is the determination of the current distribution on the substructure, I mean antenna structure, due to the excitation, and second is the evaluation of the field due to this current distribution in the space surrounding the antenna. So these are the two ways through which we can analyze the antenna and engineering problems, and the first process or the first part is generally having the integral form or integral equation that we have represented in figure 4. So here you can see these are the sources through which the current is generated, and through which we can calculate the radiated electric E and H field through the integration path 1, and this is very complicated, and according to my knowledge, the treatment of is beyond the scope of my knowledge. So in that case we are not considering the first part that discussed or that is given in figure 4 by the integration path 1. So we are mainly considered the second part, and this is the second part, or we can say it's a path integration part 2, and then after we have differentiation part 2. So these are the sources and through which we first calculate the vector potential equation for the magnetic as well as for the electric, and through which, or we can say that for the J and for the M we can calculate A and F, and these phi E comma phi H are called the Hertz potential functions or Hertz vector potential functions. And generally in the antenna engineering, or for solving the problems of antennas, or the analysis of antenna, we are using always the vector potential equation A and F, and then after we can calculate the radiated field by using the Maxwell first and second equation, through which we can calculate the radiated field by the any kind of antenna. So we can say that we are considering the step 2 procedure through which we can analyze the antennas, or simply we can say that to find the electric and magnetic fields due to the current distribution, we can split into two parts. First is defining intermediate potential functions which are related to the E and H, and these intermediate potential function are known as the vector potential function A and F, or we can say Hertz potential function phi of E and phi of H. And this is these are the intermediate potential functions are called the vector potential approach, through which we can calculate uh, the radiated field by using the Maxwell equation, as we have discussed in equation 5, 6, and these two equations are very important, and these equations are we have represented in terms of time harmonic, or we can say time harmonic factor, that is represented by e to the power j omega t, through which we have calculated the electric and magnetic field radiated by the antenna. Thank you very much for listening this lecture. I hope this lecture is beneficial for you. In a summary, we can say that in this lecture we have discussed about the usage of Maxwell equation in antenna engineering.